Aloha from Hawaii, where IAFOR is holding our annual conference on education, arts and humanities. Next to me are standing two representatives from Virginia Tech, which is a partner institution of IAFOR. Welcome to Hawaii. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Could you briefly introduce yourselves and tell us what it is that you do?
I am Daron Williams. I'm the Director of Instructional Design for TLOS at Virginia Tech. And we help faculty and programs develop technology-enhanced or flexible courses, online, hybrid, things like that.
My name is Dan Yaffe. I'm the Director of Learning Technology Support at TLOS at Virginia Tech. And I work with faculty as well as administration to help implement learning technologies and support faculty and students when they're using it for their classes.
And today you gave a workshop presentation on how to do that and include AI in instructional design. Can you explain to us specifically what the workshop was about?
Basically, it's an introductory type of workshop to help faculty demystify AI, generative AI, and help them be able to do a couple of very simple things that can make their lives better as they build a course. So that's the main thrust of what that session was about today, but we also wanted to be sure and hit on some other things as well with broader questions that they might bring up. So we wanted to make it as interactive as possible.
You said that before when you were asking people at your institution how many instructors use AI, not many used it, and today there was a considerable number who also didn't use it. What do you have to say to these people who might be afraid of AI and might also be afraid that AI might replace them?
Sure, I think one of the biggest things is AI is here and it's here to stay. But also, you don't personally need to use it, but you need to teach your students a responsible way to use it. And the best way to get most comfortable with it is using it yourself for things you are comfortable in. And then leading your students to use it in an ethical and responsible manner.
Regarding the fear that surrounds generative AI, we don't know what the future holds, but I do know that folks who are familiar with it, folks who understand what it does well, what it doesn't do well, they're going to be the ones that are best prepared to meet the future demands. Because right now, generative AI augments our own capabilities, and ultimately, I think it's going to be that way for a while.
Following from that, what kind of knowledge can we produce with AI?
I think the sky's the limit. It's, a lot of people within their disciplines, of course, they're going to have great knowledge that they bring to the table, but, being able to have this conversational chat partner that helps you, fill in some of the gaps and be able to communicate different topics better or perhaps to different audiences, I think we can create any kind of knowledge using generative AI as a partner in our day-to-day processes.
So I think right now one of the bigger areas of knowledge that it's being worked in is it does a really good job of recognizing patterns and looking at it through a different lens than what you would normally look at it from. So putting information in there and getting a whole different view than what you normally would get. And then it is on you to associate that knowledge and create it, but it's being done in a more efficient, faster way than ever before.
I was watching a reel the other day about a student who, so in the course they had to watch 4 or 5 videos, and they had an assignment on watching these videos, and then the student used AI to watch the videos and summarize what the videos were talking about without the student actually watching the videos. The instructor realized that and questioned her, saying that that's actually, you didn't do the job, AI did the job for you. And there was a huge debate between student and teacher that ended up with the teacher telling the student to get out of his class. How important is this for students to do the task themselves and not use AI in this way?
Well, I definitely think it's important for students to do the work themselves, but realizing that there are different technologies now available that weren't available previously. The need to rethink what an assignment is and what modality that assignment is. If that student had an accommodation and they simply read the transcripts of the video, is that watching the video? So there's lots of questions out there, but setting ground rules and expectations, I think, is very important as well.
For me, it comes down to the calculator issue from the 1970s. The pocket calculator was supposed to destroy math education forever. Wikipedia was supposed to destroy, research 15, 20 years ago. And those things didn't really happen. So what we do need to do, we do need to have students learning foundational concepts, learning more about the how and the why behind what they're doing before they get into using generative AI to help them, build bigger and better things. So that is something that we need to be mindful of. But ultimately, I do think that as instructors, as educators, we can plan our activities and assessments, understanding the tools that are there, and communicate clearly, like Dan said, what the expectations are.
So had the instructor done that, it would have been acceptable for the student to use AI to get transcripts?
Potentially, it depends. I do think that Dan's, what he mentioned about accessibility and the fact that different students have different learning preferences and prefer to engage with learning materials in different ways, the instructor needs to think through whether it really is watching the videos that matters, or is it the ability to pull apart these concepts and things like that.
A lot of instructors nowadays, by using AI, see their role as a police officer. Have you used AI? Have you not used AI? Your mark is based on this. Is that really how the instructor's role is evolving?
I don't think so. I mean, I definitely think that happens, and instructors may feel that has become their role. But I think that, again, if you design your activities and assessments in a way that pulls away some of the value of using generative AI in unauthorized ways, if you develop your assessments in a way that takes that into account, I really think that you can still have a great teaching and learning experience on both sides of the aisle, whether generative AI is used or not.
Yeah, so I see the instructor's role not as a police officer, and that's probably where they shouldn't be spending their time, but more as somebody that's personalizing it for more people and setting those ground rules, trusting the students to follow those ground rules, and then taking the time to personalize the instruction for individuals. The flip side to that question is, what if you're a student and your instructor grades everything using AI? How would you feel about that? So that's the other side to the argument. Is the reason that it increases efficiency for administrative purposes, or is it for building knowledge and personalizing feedback?
So does this create lazy instructors?
I don't think instructors are necessarily lazy, but I think it does depend on what level of instructor you have and what is their primary job duty. Are they researchers that are being told to teach a class, or are they actual teaching faculty where they want to be in the classroom mentoring students? So I think there's ways that AI can work in both instances, and hopefully nobody's using it to be lazy. I think the gains you make in efficiency need to outweigh, need to benefit what time you have, and then leave it to personalizing with students.
Ultimately, I think there's a larger structural conversation that needs to be had there, because some faculty are going to teach 200, 500, 1,000 student courses, and they're going to want some kind of help with, grading and things of that nature. And so, really at a much higher level, we need to be having conversations about how many students should one faculty member really be serving. And if they are asked to go beyond that number, it seems to me they should be able to get some help. And TAs cost money, and generative AI might not cost as much. So much larger conversations really need to be taking place around that.
Are instructors, perhaps at your institution, but also in your view in general, are they well equipped to start using AI?
That's a very individual question. I mean, I think it depends on the instructor. There's different levels of comfort with technology, and that's one of the things about our session is really just trying to let people see that this is pretty simple. You can do some simple tasks and get benefits by using these tools.
So I think technically it is very easy to use, and once somebody dives in and tries using a large language model or making an image or editing a video, it is very easy. I think, like Daron was saying, you have to think of the end goal and the bigger term and the bigger picture. I think faculty are equipped and they know where to get help if they want it at most universities. I think the faculty that don't ask for help are probably because they may be trying something new and aren't really confident that it's either going to work or that it's allowed at their university quite yet.
I know that folks like us are doing the best we can to try to provide those supports and resources for faculty, but ultimately, it's going to be very individual, and it's going to be, at least at our institution, a lot of it boils down to what their department is able to provide them or point out to them, that help is out there. So it's tough to answer that question, but that's.
Which brings me to my last question. What is your outlook on the future of the classroom? How does it look like with the proliferation of AI?
I think it goes back to what Dan said earlier about the personalisation piece. The fact that students with instructor guidance, students can use these tools to have their questions answered at the time of their choosing or at the time that they need it. So if they're studying at 11 o'clock at night and they get stuck on something, traditionally they would have to wait until the class meets the next time or until they can get a response from their instructor. That's no longer going to be the case. So I think personalization is really a big key to it.
It's going to be easier than ever in a couple years for somebody sitting in the United States to take an online course that's being taught in continental Asia by somebody that they don't speak their native language, and they're going to be able to communicate and understand each other and show examples to each other way easier than they ever have before. So it is going to open it up into more collaboration across the world in education.
That's very hopeful. You're referring to AI tutor, right?
I was just referring to not any particular tools, but just things that we have seen. I mean, you can build an AI tutor with a decent prompt just using one of the standard platforms. So, but that type of thing, I think, is gonna continue to develop and get better as we can build more specialized tools that pull from more specialized literature bases and things like that, so that we can trust the product more.
It's very hopeful what you said. That's what we're trying to do at IAFOR too. We're trying to bring together cultures and countries and nations and disciplines even. So it's very inspiring if you say that the classroom will develop to become this.
Every new technology makes the world smaller to a certain extent. So it's just a matter of time.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.